This is the most realistic zombie movie. The film cost $200 million, solely to depict the zombie tide in the apocalypse. The zombies in the movie are frenzied and agile. Only after watching do the audience understand how they could spread across the globe overnight. The story begins with an outbreak. Peter was formerly a UN investigator. After retiring, he lived a stable life with his wife and children. One day, he took his family out for a trip. Unexpectedly, they ran into a traffic jam. There were many cars on the road, and theirs couldn't move forward. The radio was broadcasting the latest updates on the outbreak. Suddenly, a traffic cop crashed into his car's side mirror and left. Peter got out to check. Peter returned to the car, just as the officer warned him to stay inside. The next second, he was struck by a truck. Peter started the vehicle and followed the truck. His two young daughters had never seen such a scene, and were frightened out of their seats. Peter was worried about his daughters' safety. He turned around to reassure them. Peter wanted his daughters to return to their seats and buckle up, but he didn't notice the ambulance rushing toward them. The vehicle was severely hit. Fortunately, the family was unharmed. They immediately got out of the car. They prepared to escape on foot. At this moment, the crowd behind them fell into chaos. The mutated humans began to attack others. Peter discovered that the attacked individuals would also turn into zombies within 12 seconds. Remember, 12 seconds is crucial for later. His wife spotted an abandoned RV. They quickly got into the RV and drove away. They arrived at a safe road, but at this moment, the elder daughter had an asthma attack. Unfortunately, the medication was left in the previous car. Fortunately, the father's reassurance helped her get through the crisis. Then, Peter's former boss called. He asked Peter to return to his job to help solve the current dilemma. If he agreed, the boss would send a helicopter to take his family to safety. After hearing this, Peter decided to take the mission. Meanwhile, the younger daughter was looking for water for her sister. Peter hung up the phone and drove to a supermarket. They split up to act. Peter, armed, took his elder daughter to search for asthma medication. His wife took the younger daughter to look for food. Peter quickly arrived at the pharmacy. Suddenly, a young man with a gun appeared in front of him. Fortunately, he meant no harm. The young man learned that Peter was looking for asthma medication, and he stepped aside to hand him the medicine. Peter thanked the young man. A scream from the younger daughter echoed through the supermarket. Peter hurried to take his elder daughter to find her. At this moment, his wife was being pinned down by two assailants. He rushed forward to rescue her. One of the assailants pulled out a gun and fired. Peter shot him dead immediately. He had just saved his wife. A police officer charged toward him. In the apocalypse, everyone is in danger. The social system has collapsed. Peter took his family out of the supermarket. Unfortunately, the RV had disappeared. They couldn't stay on the street for sure, so they headed to a nearby apartment building. Then, Peter called to inform his boss of his location, but the helicopter wouldn't arrive until tomorrow morning. Peter needed to hold out here for one night, but now, the city had already fallen. They could only navigate the less crowded streets. Suddenly, an explosion ahead attracted countless zombies. A zombie also fell from behind and crashed onto the car. Peter led his family into the apartment. At this moment, the zombies had already reached the door. They had no time to reinforce the door. Everyone climbed upstairs. The wife suddenly realized their younger daughter was missing. A kind family opened their door to let them in. They warmly welcomed Peter. Peter learned through the radio that the entire country had fallen. The next morning, Peter urged the homeowners to leave with him. Those who stay in one place during danger find it hard to survive, but they still decided to stay in their home. Peter upgraded his gear before leaving, and he made a wrist guard for himself. After they said their goodbyes, everyone headed to the rooftop. The road was not safe. The number of zombies was even greater than the night before. Peter was knocked down by zombies. While trying to shield his family, zombie blood splattered into his mouth. In a critical moment, the homeowner's young boy appeared and saved Peter. His family had perished. Peter took the boy and ran to the rooftop. Fortunately, he did not mutate after 12 seconds. At this moment, the helicopter sent by his boss spotted the flare. The plane was preparing to land, but the zombies were about to breach the rooftop. Peter braced himself against the door. Zombies broke through the glass and bit his arm. Fortunately, he was protected by books. This is the power of knowledge. Once the soldiers aimed their guns, he turned and ran toward the helicopter. The mutated homeowner lunged at Peter. In the end, He fell to the ground under the soldiers' guns. Everyone safely evacuated the zombie-infested city. They arrived on an aircraft carrier. This was the last command center of the United States. The upper echelons suffered heavy casualties, and major cities had fallen. The developed transportation system accelerated the spread of the virus. Only elite troops remained on the aircraft carrier. The boss settled Peter's family. Then, he went to the command center. The data showed that the situation across the country was dire, and the situation worldwide was similar. The higher-ups informed him that the zombie virus first appeared in North Korea. They planned to send a team of elite soldiers and a medical doctor to North Korea to find the patient zero. Peter has extensive investigative experience. He was needed to assist the doctor with the testing. Upon hearing this request, Peter expressed his refusal, but the higher-ups said that the beds on the aircraft carrier were only for useful people. If he was unwilling to participate in the mission, his family would be kicked off the ship. Peter had no choice. For the safety of his family, he could only agree. Peter explained the situation to his wife. Before leaving, Peter gave her a satellite phone. They agreed to stay in touch every day. After saying goodbye to his children, Peter boarded the plane to North Korea. The doctor was a young man. He has a different perspective on the zombie virus. He believed that every virus had its weaknesses. Sometimes, the strongest aspects were the key to defeating them. This dialogue later helped successfully resolve the zombie crisis. That night, the plane was low on fuel, and they had to make an emergency landing at the nearest military base. They refueled there before departing. It was raining heavily outside, and there were no signs of humans nearby. As soon as they got off the plane, zombies suddenly attacked from the darkness. The doctor hurried back to the plane. Unexpectedly, he slipped and fell to his death. The mission ended before it even began. Peter looked on in shock at the scene. He thought to himself, "What kind of person is this?" At this moment, American soldiers in the base rushed to assist them. They escorted them into the base. The soldiers in the base learned that they had come from the mainland and inquired about the situation back home. Peter could only regretfully tell them that the entire United States had fallen. A heavy atmosphere filled the entire base. Then, he learned from Commander Gaia that noise attracted zombies. He also found out that there was a soldier in the base with an injured leg. During their mission, the zombie tide broke out. The zombies attacked all living beings around him, but did not bite him. Then, Peter noticed a captured CIA traitor. He told Peter that North Korea had escaped this crisis. No one was infected and turned into zombies, because they had removed everyone's teeth within a day. Without teeth, they couldn't bite, so they couldn't spread the infection. This reasoning was quite sound. Apart from North Korea, Jerusalem and Israel also evaded the disaster. They had started building walls a long time ago. Eventually, they completed the construction before the outbreak of the zombie virus. If you want to know the answer, go to Jerusalem and find someone named Morgan. A new main quest began. The base personnel assisted Peter in refueling the plane. Gaia handed his ring to Peter. He entrusted Peter to give it to his mother. He was also going to die. Then Gaia got a bicycle. It was the quietest and fastest means of transportation. They rode their bikes to the helipad. At first, everything was fine. Peter's satellite phone suddenly rang. His wife called as agreed to. Check on the situation. Please silence your phone in public places. The noise awakened the zombies. They quickly rushed toward the group. Gaia drove the fuel truck into the zombies. He cleared a path for them. Just as Peter was about to reach the plane, he was suddenly knocked down by a zombie. Gaia quickly shot the zombie, but he was bitten on the thigh by another zombie.
Sorry, boys. I got this one.
The plane was finally refueled, but the fuel line was still attached. The base soldiers chose to sacrifice themselves. Peter left the military base and headed to Israel. During the flight, he discovered that humanity was beginning to use nuclear weapons to clear zombies. The scene shifted, and Peter arrived in Jerusalem. He met with the high-ranking official Morgan there. He told Peter that Jerusalem had learned about the existence of zombies a long time ago. Since then, they had begun constructing high walls. Ultimately, they escaped the disaster. Then, Morgan took him to tour the constructed walls. The city was allowing normal people to enter. Every person saved means one less zombie. Suddenly, a group of redeemed people celebrated inside the wall. The speakers emitted a loud noise. The sound attracted the surrounding zombies. Then, the scene from the beginning occurred. Peter realized the noise was too loud, but it was already too late. Zombies fell inside the wall. If you don't act recklessly, you won't die. The entire city turned into a hellish battleground. Even machine guns were useless. Morgan ordered to escort Peter away. Peter Peter inadvertently turned his head and saw an old man, unharmed amidst the zombie tide. Israeli soldiers escorted him to the evacuation point. The city had fallen, and zombies were everywhere. During their escape, Peter noticed a boy crouching in place. The zombies ignored him and walked past him. The pursuing zombies were increasing in number. The soldiers could only throw grenades to block them. After the explosion, the surroundings fell silent. The female soldiers cautiously checked the situation. Although they had killed the zombies, the female soldiers had also been bitten. Peter hesitated for a moment. Then, he drew his knife and severed the female soldier's hand. After 12 seconds, she did not mutate. Peter saved her life. By the time they reached the evacuation point, the helicopter had been attacked by zombies and crashed. Peter walked to the airport. Unexpectedly, he witnessed a shocking scene. Because one person felt scared, he drove away alone in a transport plane. The group quickly stopped a commercial airliner. The captain lowered the boarding ladder. Peter and the female soldier boarded the plane. At this moment, the runway was gradually being overrun by zombies. Fortunately, the plane had already taken off. Peter grabbed a medical kit. He prepared to disinfect and rebandage the female soldier's wound. The female soldier said she could only be a burden to them now. This was the most painful thing for a soldier. But that statement connected the clues in Peter's mind. He recalled what the doctor had said earlier. The challenge was to treat traces as clues. The old man and the boy had been unharmed in the zombie tide. An idea formed in his mind. To verify his hypothesis, he needed to go to the World Health Organization. So Peter picked up the satellite phone to contact his boss. Then he handed the phone to the captain. They confirmed the destination. Before the battery ran out, they had a brief moment of calm on the plane, but a small dog was barking in the back of the cabin. The flight attendant didn't pay attention. She opened the overhead compartment. Peter suddenly woke up to the sound. He approached the curtain to check the situation. Upon hearing the noise, the passengers fell into panic. Peter signaled for everyone to be quiet. Then he instructed everyone to block the aisle with their luggage. One passenger made a noise. The noise attracted the zombies, and they surged toward them. The luggage could not hold back the zombies at all. In an instant, chaos erupted inside the plane. Peter was surrounded by zombies. In a critical moment, the female soldier grabbed her pistol to assist. But at this point, the zombies were multiplying. Peter pulled out a grenade. He blew a huge hole in the plane. The massive pressure difference sucked the zombies out. But the plane was losing pressure and was about to crash. Peter secured himself and the female soldier in their seats. The plane crashed into a dense jungle. When he woke up, Peter found that the female soldier was missing. He had also been pierced in the abdomen by debris. Peter adjusted his position to unbuckle his seatbelt. He struggled to stand up. A noise came from behind him. Fortunately, the female soldier had returned. The crash site was not far from the World Health Organization. The two supported each other. As they made their way there, Peter collapsed to the ground, unable to hold himself up. When he came to, he found that his wound had been treated. The people here wanted to verify Peter's identity. Peter asked them to make a call on the satellite phone. He learned that his wife and daughter had been moved to another safe zone. For the safety of his wife and daughter, he needed to find a way to save humanity. He then explained to everyone the purpose of their visit. He needed a virus with a high mortality rate, but one that could be treated, like SARS or H1N1. The laboratory staff laughed at Peter. Pathogens require living hosts to survive. However, strictly speaking, these zombies were dead. Diseases have no effect on the dead. But Peter told them he wasn't trying to infect zombies. He wanted to infect humans. He believed that zombies had a weakness. He had seen zombies ignore humans with diseases. This indicated that the zombie virus only sought healthy hosts. Making humans sick might block the transmission of the zombie virus. After hearing Peter's theory, everyone present was shocked. Only the protagonist could come up with such a method. These pathogens were stored in another building, but that place had already fallen. The 80 researchers who originally worked there had all turned into zombies. Peter decided to go retrieve the pathogens. The female soldier and the head of the laboratory went with him. They wrapped books around their arms and armed themselves. They stepped through the door. Inside, the zombies had not been stimulated for a long time and were wandering lethargically. They carefully bypassed the zombies. The leader accidentally bumped into a metal cabinet. The noise instantly awakened the zombies. They arrived at a fork in the road. To ensure the survival of the two, Peter chose to take a different path. He struck the railing with a metal bar. The zombies were attracted and chased after Peter. Meanwhile, the other two were also being pursued by other zombies. In a critical moment, the researchers opened the door and saved them. Peter finally arrived at the pathogen storage room, but the door here was tightly locked. Peter initially wanted to smash the door open. He was unfamiliar with these pathogens. He grabbed a metal box to collect all the pathogens, but when he returned, he found that the exit was blocked by zombies. He had no way out. Peter decided to test his hypothesis now. He found a syringe and prepared to inject the virus. Fortunately, he was lucky. Peter did not select a lethal virus. He waited for a while, then stood up to face the zombies at the door. To his surprise, the zombies truly ignored Peter. His hypothesis was correct. Peter walked over to the vending machine. He took out a bottle of drink and took a sip. Then he damaged the vending machine system to create noise. All the zombies were attracted and rushed toward the sound. They all bypassed Peter. Then, Peter left the research facility with the pathogens. The vaccine developed by the World Health Organization caused people to be ignored by zombies after injection. Humans used sound to attract the zombies together and then blew them up. However, there were too many zombies, and the survivors' battle against them was just beginning. The film ends here. World War Z is a landmark zombie film. It portrays mutations as the outbreak of a pandemic. It redefined people's understanding of zombies. Unlike traditional zombies, the ones in the film move quickly. They possess a high level of infectiousness and aggressiveness. Humans mutate just 12 seconds after being bitten. No wonder zombies can spread across the globe in such a short time. The visual effects of the movie are impressive. Doomsday Zombie Horde. Zombies surround the city. Many classic scenes have been reused in zombie games. The protagonist Brad Pitt delivers an outstanding performance in the film. He showcases a retired father's concern for his family and his meticulous courage at work. There is not much individual heroism in the film, only a brave father fighting to protect his family. In reality, there are always heroes who step up. They solve one challenge after another in human history. Similarly, in the apocalypse, everyone faces danger. Where there are heroes, there are also cowards. Some even abandon their family and friends to escape, while some bear the consequences they deserve. Additionally, this virus should have been developed by humans. If such a virus truly emerges in the future, how will humanity survive? Overall, this is a zombie film worth watching. If you enjoyed my commentary, please subscribe to my channel. Your support is my greatest encouragement.